This is our daily top 5 gainers and top 5 losers analysis for July 24, 2019 in preparation for the next trading day on Thursday. Everything everything that we're going to talk about here is for short-term trading purposes. So after giving you my technical analysis, I will tell you what I see on my trade and volume distribution and through market sentiment charts. After which I'm going to give you my overall sentiment followed by my recommendations. So if in case any of these 10 stocks begin at a price that is either higher or lower than the dominant range that you're about to see, make sure that you post a request for the stock's latest trade and volume distribution and through market sentiment charts in our private clients forum. Okay, so let's begin with ABS CBN. ABS closed today at 19.70. It broke above its previous resistance at 19.30, which is now acting as its current support. The acting immediate resistance is at 21.95. Should ABS break below the 19.30 level, 16.9 will become its immediate support level. So here, the three simple moving averages of ABS-CBN are still aligned in a perfect bearish position, meaning to say ABS has a lot of resistance levels that it needs to break in order in order for its shorter term moving averages to hover the longer term ones. It's not yet completely out of the woods. It has a lot of work to do. ABS-CBN. The 10 MACD combo is still present. The upward momentum is very strong already. Okay, it's because it managed to bounce away from the support at 16, the previous support at 16.9, and that's what caused the ADX line to achieve a score of 30.75%. The risk level of ABS-CBN is low. RSI, take note of this, RSI is already approaching or super close to its classical overbought level. Let's take a look at the trade and volume distribution chart of ABS to verify if the fantastic four signals are also present. And they are, because the dominant range here is between 19 point, no, not 19.5, but somewhere around 19.7 all the way to 20.25. 19.7 to 20.25. It's in favor of the buyers. The fantastic four signals are present and the MACD combo is valid. You know what that means, right? That's a confirmed buy signal. The true market sentiment for ABS is, let me minimize this one so that you can see the chart very well. The true market sentiment, on the other hand, is bearish. So here's my overall sentiment for ABS. Although I am bullish on ABS, I would advise those who are yet to enter a new position to monitor ABS within the first 5 to 10 minutes tomorrow. So don't immediately enter a new position within the dominant range. I suggest that you monitor the price movement within the first 5 to 10 minutes. If the ascent in price continues with an impressive volume, okay, then that's the time that you should enter a new position. When that happens, it's better if you will ask for the latest trade and volume distribution and true market sentiment chart of ABS in our private clients forum. Now, for those of you who have had ABS, it's a lot easier for you guys to decide to top up, since you were able to enter a new position at a lot cheaper price, than where it is at the moment. Okay, so there you go. So just make sure that you top up within the dominant range. Again, if ABS, CBN, or any of these 10 stocks begin at a price that is either higher or lower than the dominant range, make sure that you ask for the latest TVD and TMS charts in our PCF, Private Clients Forum. That's it for ABS-CBN. Next is ALCO. ALCO closed today at 1.09. Support is at 1.03. Resistance is at 1.15. If it breaks above 1.15, the next resistance would be 1.32. This is still a historical resistance that is rooted all the way to this one here. All the way to, let's see the date, 2017. Okay, I just wanted to show you that. Okay, now the upward momentum is still very strong. Risk level, however, is already high. RSI is somewhat distant from the classical overbought level. The 10 SMACD combo is not yet perfectly valid because while the last price is already moving above the 10-day simple moving average, MACD is still trading below the signal line. It's not yet crystal clear if this formation of a bullish convergence with the signal line will continue, but let's see. Let's see until Friday. But that's it. The 10 SMACD combo is not yet valid. Okay, foreign investors, their participation on ALCO is insignificant. Therefore, we're going to ignore their net foreign on ALCO. So let's take a look at the TVD chart. Yeah, let me make sure. Yes, the fantastic four signals are present. The dominant range is between 1.06 to 1.09. The true market sentiment of ALCO is bearish. It's still bearish. It's still bearish. So even though the true market sentiment is bearish, my overall sentiment for ALCO is, I would say I'm neutral in this case, in a sense that if you already have ALCO and if its current price is trading above your trailing stop loss, my suggestion is that you hold your position but do not top up yet. Hold your position but don't top up yet. Okay? So when should you do a top up? Once the fantastic four signals become present again, but even more than that, once the 10 MACD combo is present. At this point, MACD is still trading below the signal line. Now, if you consider yourself honestly as an experienced trader, then you can already go ahead and do a test. Go ahead and top up without waiting for the 10 MACD combo to be revalidated. The reason why I am risk averse or somewhat conservative with my recommendation for the not so experienced ones is that the 10 MACD is still not yet valid, coupled with the bearish sentiment that came from our true market sentiment indicator, and that's the technical reason behind my conservative recommendation for the not so experienced traders who already have ALCO, which is still trading above their or your trailing stop loss. How about for those who don't have ALCO but would want to enter a new position? What's my advice? Same advice. If you don't see yourself as an experienced trader, you are better off waiting for the 10 SMACD combo to be revalidated. But if you are an experienced one, you can go ahead and do a test buy. Of course, you should be satisfied with your reward to risk ratio first. Remember, there's an extra process that you must go through if you are to enter a new position on any stock, and that is the calculation of your reward to risk ratio. Okay? That piece of advice, you should have memorized that already because I always mention that in our daily videos. Okay? So that's my outlook, sentiment, and recommendation for all of you for ALCO. So after ALCO, we have What's next? CHP. CHP closed today at 2.66. Support is at 2.33. Resistance is at 2.88. Hmm. The 10 MACD combo is not yet present. It's not yet present. The negative DMI is still hovering. The positive DMI, although the downward momentum is not yet very strong. The risk level of CHP is already moderate. RSI is below the neutral level, somewhat close to a lot closer to the classical overbought or oversold than the neutral level. But yeah, the 10 SMAC is not yet present. Let's see the VWAP. VWAP is at 2.65. Well, let's see if let me see the volume here. Volume. Okay. Let's see if the Fantastic Four signals are present on CHP's chart. They are. The 10 SMACD combo is not yet valid, but the Fantastic Four signals are already present. The dominant range is between 2.66 to 2.68. The true market sentiment for CHP is neutral. My overall sentiment for CHP is actually still bearish. I'm not yet that convinced. Uh, just because we see a green candlestick today, it doesn't mean that I'm already bullish on CHP. Number one, the 10 SMACD combo is still not yet present, and volume is not yet that. It's not yet an outstanding or not yet an impressive volume for me. But if today's volume engulfs at least last week's daily volume, then I would say I might advise you even to top up or to test buy even with the absence of our 10 SMACD combo. But in this case, I suggest not to enter a new position yet. Wait for the revalidation of our 10 SMACD combo. If that means buying on breakout above 2.8, then so be it. Okay? By now, your trailing stop loss must have already been hit. By now. Okay? So I am bearish on CHP. After CHP, we're going to talk about RCI. RCI closed today at 1.52. Support is at 1.29. Resistance is at 1.6, followed by 1.8. The 10 SMACD combo is already present. It was first revalidated last July 15. Did you catch that one? If you did, congratulations. RSI is still far from the classical overbought level. The risk level of RCI is already moderate. The upward momentum is about to become very strong, about 1.3 points away from getting that confirmed strong upward momentum level. So perhaps once the price touches 1.6 or above, or maybe 1.65 or and above, the ADX score will become 25 points or higher. Okay, so the 10 SMACD combo is valid. Let's not even factor in foreign investors' transactions because they are insignificant in this case. So let's go ahead with the TVD chart of RCI. Looks like everything is toward the middle, but the dominant range here is between 1.48 to 1.54. Seems like it's closer to it's in favor of the sellers than the buyers in this case, or it's in favor of the intraday low than the intraday high. Wow, there's a contradictory here. So with that, let's see. But here's the thing. What was yesterday's closing price for RCI? 1.48. And today's low is 1.46, 1.52. Okay. Now, let's double check this. If we're going to pick this one, it's still in favor of, it's still closer to the a lot closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. Therefore, this invalidates the presence of our fantastic force signals on RCI, despite the appearance or the validation of our 10 SMACD combo. So what do I advise? My overall sentiment here, although it's bullish, I want to advise those who have had RCI to just hold your position but don't top up yet. Just hold your position, don't top up, and don't preempt. Don't sell too early. I don't see any data-driven signal for you to hurry up and sell and lock in your profits. Okay, so not yet. So let's just be a little bit conservative by holding our position without topping up. For those of you who don't have RCI but are planning to enter a new position, I think you are better off buying on breakout uh, at this time, or wait for the fantastic four signals to become present all together, not just three of them. Okay, there you go for RCI. After RCI, we have, oh, by the way, the true market sentiment of RCI is this. This is the chart, and it's bearish. Did you see that? It's a bearish true market sentiment, and that supports the advice that I've given you to become cautious, a little bit risk averse or conservative, at least for now. So after RCI, we have ROC. So ROC closed today at 2.38. Support is at 2.23. The resistance is at 2.47. This is still a This is a historical resistance for ROC at 2.47 as a precursor to 2.66. Okay, I'd like to mention that the three simple moving averages of ROC are already in a perfect bullish alignment. And our 10 MACD combo is very present. MACD already crossed above the signal line today. Okay, 10 MACD combo is valid. The upward momentum is very strong, FYI. Risk level is low. However, RSI is somewhat near, close to the classical overbought level already. Take note, that's your resistance at 2.47. So let's ignore the net foreign participation as well, the foreign investors' participation due to their flimsy net foreign value on ROC. So here, the fantastic four signals are also present on ROC. The dominant range is between 2.34 all the way to 2.38. The true market sentiment of ROC is, let's see, oh, it's bearish. Okay, it's bearish. So here's my advice. If you have had ROC and if it's still trading above your trailing stop loss, I suggest that you hold your position, but do not top up, but don't sell as well. Okay, if it's still trading above your trailing stop loss. Now, if you don't have ROC and you're thinking of entering a new position, okay, I suggest that you do it conservatively within the dominant range, if and only if you are satisfied with your reward to risk ratio. So as far as the distance of this last candlestick with its support and resistance level, I would say that you're going to get a bigger potential risk than your potential reward. That's not a good thing. Okay, so it's either you wait for a pullback, if it will pull back, or you buy on breakout if it will sustain its ascent above the resistance at 2.47. In other words, if you don't have ROC and you are interested to trade the name, I suggest that you either wait for a pullback or you buy on breakout, and that means just do the monitoring for now. Don't push the buy button yet. Okay? Remember, the calculation of your reward to risk ratio is the extra process that you need to go through if and when you're about to enter a new position on any stock. So let's stick with that, memorize that by heart, in your heart, and then you stick with the process. Okay? So after ROC, we're going to talk about which one? Jollibee. Okay. I'm not going to say that much about Jollibee because I already posted or published my detailed analysis of Jollibee in its thread in our private clients forum here. So I suggest that you read the last post on JFC's thread in our private clients forum here. So it's quite lengthy. So I suggest that you read this line by line. Okay. So I'll just give you my overall sentiment on Jollibee. I am bearish on Jollibee at this moment, but it's interesting to monitor the price action tomorrow because there's a possibility for uh, for the price to rebound above 250, if not near 240. I mentioned that as well here in the recommendations part. Okay, so this is a complete assessment or analysis of JFC. So I suggest you take the time to read all of this. I just don't want to read everything for you here because you already have an access. Of course, you should have an access to this thread. Otherwise, it will take us about 20 minutes or so, 15 to 20 minutes just to read everything and explain everything that I have already explained in a written manner. So just do your due diligence by visiting this thread and read everything line by line. And if you have questions, there's a reply button at the bottom. Okay? So there you go for JFC. So after JFC, we're going to talk about what's next. PHEN. Okay, PHEN. All right. So PHEN closed today at 2.52. Support is at 2.2. Resistance is at 2.8. So here, profit taking happened at 2.8 again. I talked about PHEN in one of my previous videos. If that wasn't the, I'm not 100% sure if I talked about PHEN yesterday, but I mentioned there the strong probability for a profit taking to arise at 2.8 and for the price to bounce away instead of continuing above the 2.8, and it happened. Okay, it happened. So the 10 MACD combo is no longer valid on PHEN's chart. Of course, let's not look for the fantastic first signals. Definitely they are not present because we're already talking about the top 5 losers. Okay, so maybe you have noticed that as soon as we talk about the top 5 losers in the video, I no longer talk about the fantastic first signals because it's a waste of time because for sure the F4 are not present already when it's about the top 5 losers already. Okay, foreign investors registered a net foreign buying worth 7.9 billion pesos today on PHEN. Let me show you the TVD chart of PHEN here. The closing price is 2.52 and that's closer to the intraday low. It's somewhere near the intraday low. The dominant range is between 2.52 towards 2.6. 2.52 to 2.6. And then there's another range between 2.6 to 2.81. Well, actually, if we are to group those two into one, we would say that the dominant range is between 2.52 all the way to 2.8, but that's a big chunk of a dominant range. So I cut it into two. That's how I got 2.52 to 2.6 and 2.6 to 2.81. Okay? It's still, most bars are still closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. So that's bearish for me. This is the true market sentiment chart of PHEN. And okay, for PHEN, it's bullish already. The true market sentiment for PHEN is bullish. So let's see tomorrow if PHEN will just continue to move sideways. There's a possibility for the price to move higher than 2.52 tomorrow because of that bullish true market sentiment. But whichever the case is, here's my suggestion. Do you have PHEN? Is it still trading above your trailing stop loss? If your answers are two yeses, then I suggest that you preempt your trailing stop loss. Take a look at this tall red volume bar. This is what triggered me to recommend preempting your trailing stop loss. So lock in your profits. And if you're planning to enter a new position, postpone that plan. Not yet. At least wait for the fantastic first signals to become present. Okay? Okay, after PHEN, we have PPG. PPG closed today at 6 pesos per share or 6 peso per share. Support is at 5.96. Resistance is at 7.2. If it breaks below 5.96, 4.28 will act as the support level. Okay. The 10 smack D combo is still present, but of course the F4 are already absent. Take note that RSI hit the classical overbought level. That's why PPG is having a hard time breaking above 7.2 now. Okay, foreign investors registered. That's never mind. It's 180,000 pesos worth of net foreign buying. It's such a flimsy net foreign value for today. Although the upward momentum is still categorized as strong, the positive DMI is already downward sloping, and the negative DMI is already upward sloping, meaning to say it's a bearish convergence. Okay, it's a bearish convergence. So here's the trade and volume distribution chart of PPG. It's quite long. So with respect to the closing price of 6 pesos per share, I would say that the dominant range is between 6 all the way to 6.1, 6 to 6.10. Okay, that's your dominant range, a lot closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. So the true market sentiment of PPG is neutral. Despite that neutral true market sentiment, my overall sentiment for PPG is already bearish because of this relatively huge red volume bar. Okay, so do you have PPG? Is it still trading above your trailing stop loss? Like the previous stock, I suggest that you preempt your trailing stop loss now. Lock in your profits. If it's quite a sizable holdings, I suggest that you at least sell a few tranches if you don't want to sell everything at once. Okay? Now, don't enter a new position yet. If you are planning to do so, don't. There are no signals for you to do that. Okay? I am bearish on PPG. After PPG, we have PXP. PXP closed today at 8.30. Support is at 6.78. Resistance is at 10.05. Foreign investors registered a net foreign buying worth 1 million pesos. It's still an insignificant amount as well. I frequently talked about PXP in our daily videos, and I said in those videos that I'm still bearish on PXP. Number one, I don't have the appetite to trade stocks that are in a range. Do you still remember that? I like trading stocks that are already in a trend or are poised to register a trend. Okay, an uptrend to be specific, not a downtrend, of course. So in this case, this is this for me. This is still a boring stock, PXP, for short-term trading purposes, of course. So risk level is already high. That's another factor that makes me not interested in PXP yet. RSI is in the neutral level. The 10 SMACD combo is no longer valid. And this is the trade and volume distribution. The dominant range is between 8.3 all the way to 8.4. It's obviously attached to the intraday low. The true market sentiment of PXP is bearish. See, it also supports my bearish stance on my overall sentiment for PXP. So don't enter a new position yet. Do you have it? What did you see that made you enter a new position back then on PXP? Well, if it's still trading above your trailing stop loss, I suggest that you hold your position, don't top up. Okay, don't top up. Don't even average down just for the sake of averaging down. If there's nothing, uh, if there are no signals that would make it worth it to for you to top up. Okay, just hold your position. Don't top up yet. Planning to enter a new position? Okay, for Pete's sake, don't do that. There are no buy signals yet on PXP. So lastly, we have IRC. IRC closed today at 1.68. Support is at 1.6. Resistance is at 1.94. The 10 MACD combo is no longer present. The negative DMI already crossed above the positive DMI. Okay, meaning to say the downtrend is getting stronger, although it's not yet very strong. Risk level is low. RSI is moving towards the classical oversold level. Let's see. It seems that IRC wants to test the support at 1.6. Well, let's see if it will bounce away or if it will continue to go down lower than 1.6 when that happens. The trade and volume distribution chart. Huh. Okay. Looks like everything is a dominant range here. Okay. So it's evenly distributed, quite, but the dominant one here with respect to the closing price of 1.68, then I would pick 1.67 all the way to 1.75. Still, most part of it is still stored or placed, put closer to the intraday low than the intraday high, so it's still bearish for me. The true market sentiment of IRC is neutral, but my overall sentiment is still bearish on IRC. Don't enter a new position, and I won't believe it if you would say that it's still trading above your trading stop loss because it's been in a downtrend for such a long time already. Okay, so don't enter a new position. Okay, so I'm bearish on IRC. So that's it. You've heard my technical analysis, overall sentiment, and recommendations for these 10 stocks. If you have questions, please post in our private clients forum. And as a reminder, please read my analysis, my lengthy analysis for JFC in its thread inside the long-term investing uh, section of the forum. Although it's inside the long-term investing thread, uh, the things that I've mentioned or that I've written in this analysis also apply to short-term trading. Anyhow, if you have questions, I'm just a reply away. Okay? So again, by the way, this coming Saturday, I'll see you in Davao. If you're from Davao City, I suggest that you attend that seminar so that we can have uh, the opportunity to really grill on the methodologies that we have in here. To buy your ticket, go to seminars on our website and then click on Davao. Okay, so again, my name is JC de Guzman. May you have a profitable and a disciplined and a data-driven trading day on Thursday. Bye for now.